We now go to Peter Griffin for You Know What Really Grinds My Gears.
Thanks, Tom.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Family Guy moments that made fans rage quit.
Well, hopefully they would have enjoyed the ride.
I don't know, man. I think you piss a lot of people off that way.
For this list, we're looking at the scenes and episodes so downright frustrating that viewers decided to switch channels or quit the show entirely. Which Family Guy scene grinds your gears? Rage in the comments below. Number 20, the long Conway Twitty cutaway. Normally, the Conway Twitty cutaway gags are funny distractions from awkward moments, while also paying tribute to the late country singer.
Yikes! Looks like I need a distraction.
However, when Peter tries to distract Lois in The Juice is Loose, they show a full 3-minute segment of Mr. Twitty performing I See the Want To in Your Eyes. Not only does the diversion not work, it also takes a sizable chunk out of the episode and feels more like cheap filler. Unfortunately, no matter how iconic the running gag is, this is a prime example of too much of a good thing. We're not even sure Mr. Twitty himself would have approved.
Conway Twitty says cut it out. Just write a joke.
Number 19, Brian switches political ideologies. For a long time in the show's history, Brian acted as the conscience of the Griffin family. He was a cynical liberalist, leaning left with his antics, including weed legalization and jabs at George W. Bush.
Oh my God, they just elected him out of pity because they think he's mentally challenged.
Kind of like we did with George W. Bush, huh? Right?
I guess, Brian.
In Excellence in Broadcasting, Brian does a complete 180 and aligns himself with Rush Limbaugh, a premier American conservative.
Oh my God. Rush Limbaugh was right all along. Conservative republicanism is the answer. Good. Good for Brian.
Through this moment, Brian's ideology became less about what he believed in and more about how he could pretentiously laud his intelligence over everyone else.
What did you think of the movie Titanic?
Horrible. One of the worst movies ever made.
How about Slumdog Millionaire?
Overrated. Just a terrible movie.
Cocktail.
Actually, not a bad film. You know, as classically structured cinema, Cocktail was one of the best films of its era.
Of course, this made you lose any kind of respect for the character. But it's not the last controversial moment featuring the anthropomorphic canine. Number 18, diaper eating. Family Guy has a consistently outlandish and hilarious tone throughout, but it isn't afraid to get serious when it needs to. The Season 8 episode Brian and Stewie is such an episode, featuring the iconic duo getting stuck in a bank vault and going to some dark places.
Dogs are supposed to be able to instinctively live with purpose, not even to have to think about it, just born like that. But I wasn't. You know, I've tried to find meaning in my life, and I just can't.
A lot of fans loved this episode for showing development in the pair's relationship, so it's a shame the writers ruined it with this disgusting and unnecessary moment.
If the poo were to be removed...
What is it? What are you driving at?
Eat it.
What?
Eat my poo, Brian.
It goes on for a long time and makes viewers genuinely uncomfortable. Maybe that was what they were going for, but if you hate gross-out humor, this quite possibly made you switch channels and miss out on what else the episode had to offer.
Oh my God.
What?
It's all on tape.
What's all on tape? Oh, oh my God. Oh, that is going to be on YouTube.
Number 17, time-filling gags and morbid premise. For many fans, the golden age of Family Guy had long passed by the time season 17 rolled around. Just like how the Conway Twitty gag felt like the show was just padding for time, Con Eris suffered the same problem throughout. The premise of Brian, Stewie, and Quagmire trying to inherit elderly women's fortunes is morbid enough, but what might have made you lose interest was something much more straightforward. The episode felt dragged out, like there wasn't much there, especially during the long name joke.
Who is she?
That's Margaret Woolworth Carrington von Schumacher Chanel Astor Livingston Comte de Saint-Exupéry Mountbatten Windsor Armani Roosevelt von Trapp Wickenham Hearst Montgomery Rothschild Johnson & Johnson Twillsworth Dolce Gabbana von Zweiger Second Montgomery.
There are plenty of elongated jokes like this throughout the series, but the punchline wasn't funny enough to justify the setup.
Barrington Chadsworth Big League Chew Chesterfield Kensington Booth Bishop Longbottom Nottingham Meisterburger Burgermeister Tudor Habsburg Rockefeller Onassis.
Number 16, DVD commentary. When a show becomes a staple of American television, you can experiment and get creative with episodes. While some of these break the formula concepts have done reasonably well, You Can't Handle the Booth from season 17 did not. An episode plays out as expected in front of us, but the difference is the fictional cast of Griffins gets frustrated while recording DVD commentary.
They're not even going to explain how we all got stuck? Season 16, ladies and gentlemen. Suddenly the family is stuck in the banister slats.
Baluster.
Brian, seriously.
While there are plenty of funny fourth wall breaking moments, it proved a little too hard to follow for some. As a result, the episode became one of the lowest ever rated on IMDb. There wasn't a single final straw, as many user reviews claimed it was too dull to finish, pointing to a decline in the show's overall quality. Number 15. Peter saving the whale. When Peter gets promoted to forklift operator at work, he naturally starts having too much fun with his new vehicle. He tries to use it to rescue a beached sperm whale, only to accidentally impale the poor mammal.
Step aside, I'll handle this. Give me some room.
Afterward, we're subjected to a whole minute of Peter trying to dislodge the creature, only for it to fall completely apart in a grotesque display, as blood and organs topple out of the carcass. While we should maybe give props to the art directors and animators for not missing any gruesome details, fans were too busy gagging at the scene and feeling disheartened over the poor whale's suffering.
You're welcome.
Number 14. Vern and Johnny. Every now and then in the first few seasons, the action would be interrupted by two vaudevillian performers named Vern and Johnny. While Vern tried and usually failed to entertain viewers, Johnny was just there to play him off on a piano. Do not ask where the piano comes from.
Now that's rich. Ha 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 ha! Play me off, Johnny.
While their antics were mostly harmless, fans got tired of them disrupting the episode. And even then producer David Goodman admitted that they'd used the duo way too much. The gag was finally laid to rest when Stewie shot them to death in season 5. And aside from a few brief cameos, they haven't bothered us since. Number 13. Making fun of President Trump. Family Guy and its various animated sitcom competitors have never shied away from taking shots at high-profile figures. Political satire is an essential part of our media, but unfortunately, Trump Guy wasn't an excellent example of it. In this episode, Peter assists then US President Donald Trump, getting into all sorts of shenanigans as his press secretary.
This country needs stronger border security.
Our border security is the strongest in the world.
What we need is to take care of our children.
I can't get an erection.
You think giving them amnesty is fair to the people who are already here?
They're contributing to the economy.
I've tried all the herbs.
The episode is obviously taking shots at the man and his various controversies, but many fans found his depiction lazy. It was a pretty gross depiction at that, but the last straw for some was when he makes advances towards Meg.
Oh, please, every president since Washington has done this.
Some might have quit this episode for making fun of a president they admired, while others just got agitated by the cheap humor. Number 12. Jesus is a Virgin. The episode I Dream of Jesus, in which the Son of God is made a fully formed character, is one of the most beloved episodes of Seth MacFarlane's show. But a follow-up appearance in The 2,000-Year-Old Virgin became one of the most hated.
All right, Jesus, nowadays everything is done on the internet. All right, so we got to get you on Facebook. Oh, let me just close a couple of these windows. There we go. Sorry, I was up late last night. I had the house to myself.
In season 13, Peter tries to get the Lord and Savior laid, eventually trying it with Lois. But overall, the episode was criticized for being edgy to garner more viewers while lacking the substance to keep people laughing. And if there was a rock bottom moment for the episode, it's the unfunny instance when Jesus' real middle name is revealed.
I don't know, man. Jesus, Hitler, Christ sounds weird.
So just go with H.
Yeah.
Number 11. Stewie's therapist. Stewie has a lot of issues, so it's no surprise that a visit to a child psychologist sees him sharing a lot of secrets and insecurities. Towards the end of the session, however, the doctor starts having a heart attack and asks Stewie to hand him his medicine, but Stewie refuses.
I don't understand. Why aren't you getting my medication?
It's true that Stewie is a sadistic little toddler and is killed plenty of times, but this was especially shocking because he didn't even get his hands dirty.
I'm not going to get it.
Is this because I made you wait?
It's because I can't have anyone know the real me.
Instead, he elected to ignore the pleas of someone who only wanted to help him and let the poor therapist suffer a slow, agonizing death, taking all of Stewie's secrets with him to the grave. Number 10. Male sexual assault is disregarded. Humor can be a great way to bring awareness to serious topics in the real world, but the Family Guy team handled this one poorly.
Oh no, I dropped my pencil.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
In Peter Asment, Peter gets blackmailed and inappropriately harassed by his boss, Angela. The episode plays out very cynically, with one particular moment between Peter and Lois hitting a sore point for male victims.
Peter, a woman can't sexually harass a man.
Why not?
I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, guys like being touched by women. It's not harassment if you like it.
But I didn't like it.
While this highlights a real problem with these cases, the episode ends trying to create sympathy for the perpetrator.
I just wish one person was able to find me attractive. But that's not too much to ask, is it?
No.
It was a bizarre episode, and even weirder for the late Carrie Fisher to be playing the role of an aggressor when she was a silent champion to victims of such crimes. Number 9. Stewie gets herpes. This moment removed any shadow of likability for Brian Griffin. After seeing a blood brothers ritual on television, Stewie asks Brian if they can share blood in the same way. Brian accepts, knowing full well he has a transmittable disease, and ends up getting Stewie infected. The show pulls no punches, showing disgusting, hard-to-watch imagery relating to the condition.
Stewie, that's crazy. There's no way I gave you herpes. Then how do you explain this?
While Stewie has been horrendously hurt before in episodes like Brian Griffin's House of Pain, the difference here is the perpetrator shows no remorse for his actions. It transforms Brian's character into an insensitive jerk, which we saw hints at just episodes before with Brian's a bad father.
And you know what's weird? You're on a show. I'm a writer. It's almost like the universe is trying to, I don't know, make us work together or something. I don't know.
Number 8. Lois cheats on Peter. Lois and Peter have never had the best marriage in the world, but they've always stuck together no matter what. However, this episode destroyed any respect you had for the matriarch of the Griffin household. Peter has been neglecting and insulting Lois recently, so she attempts to get with Meg's boyfriend Anthony. The action of cheating on Peter is terrible enough, but what's worse is her interaction with her daughter afterward.
It was an awful thing that I did. I never meant to steal him from you.
Is that what you think? You stole him from me? Are you kidding? You couldn't steal him from me.
Well, I do know a few things, Meg, and clearly if I wanted him, I could have him.
Lois doesn't face any consequences for her actions, and instead lays all the blame on Peter.
How the hell could you do that to me?
Because, Peter, you've been making me feel old and fat and unattractive and worthless. How do you expect me to respond?
While it is a complex situation, it doesn't shine a very nice light on Lois's character. Number 7. Peter in the Boston Marathon. While the rest of the episode Turban Cowboy was nothing to boast about, the worst moment came when Peter recalled how he won the Boston Marathon. Turns out he drove his car to the finish line, killing everyone in his path.
I'm Bob Costas, here with Boston Marathon winner Peter Griffin.
It was an uninspired joke at the time, but then tragedy struck 1 month later with the Boston Marathon bombings. Fox pulled the episode from the airwaves and streaming services, and professional conspiracy theorist and tragedy troll Alex Jones went so far as to blame Family Guy for inspiring the incident. While that was quite a stretch, any way you look at it, the gag was in poor taste, especially in retrospect. Number 6. Meg the Martyr. She's constantly tormented at school, and her own family treats her like garbage. In Season 10's Seahorse Seashell Party, she's finally had enough and tears Chris, Lois, and Peter a new one.
You're my mother, and you took a child's trust and smashed it into bits in a 17-year-long mission to destroy something that you killed a long time ago.
The scene is unbelievably cathartic, until Meg sees the way the family turns on each other and decides to allow herself to be their lightning rod.
Maybe if I feel bad, they don't have to.
This could be seen as a noble act on paper, but it really shows how toxic and dysfunctional the Griffin family is if they have to rely on Meg's misery to stay somewhat stable. A similar moment that made us rage quit was when Meg faked her death to get away from her family, but eventually came back. So close to freedom.
I owe my sister an apology. I shouldn't have treated her the way I did. And I think if Meg were here today, she'd be the first one to agree.
I am here! I'm right here!
Number 5. Quagmire's Trial. Quagmire is very controversial in this day and age since the character's humor revolves around questionable intimate situations. During a party, Quagmire's hookup with a girl gets him promptly arrested. At his trial, he explains he ended up the way he is because his mother was very promiscuous.
So you see, Your Honor, thanks to my mom, I never had a chance to be like everyone else. My misguided carnal instincts are the result of being raised by a sexual deviant. All I'm asking is that you give me the break that my childhood never did.
While this does give context to his character, this shouldn't absolve him from his antics. In fact, it almost doesn't. But his mother is able to curry favor with the judge.
Mom, did you?
Yep, twice.
Instead of holding Quagmire somewhat accountable, all the blame is laid on a throwaway character. We could have seen a slightly mature response to his hijinks, but it gets disregarded using a lackluster excuse.
Quagmire got away with it and learned nothing. That's great.
Number 4, Peter marrying Chris.
After Chris bonds with his grandpa Carter, Carter makes him the sole heir of the Pewterschmidt family fortune. A jealous Peter tries unsuccessfully to get on Chris's good side to earn a chance at the money, but things turn creepy real fast.
There comes a time when every man looks at his son and thinks, I want to take this to the next level.
Peter asks Chris to marry him, and Chris agrees. What makes this really tragic is that the only reason Chris went along with the escapade was so that he could spend time with his father, which by itself could have made for a decent enough theme, without the proposal thrown into the mix.
Peter's uncomfortable jokes do nothing to help.
Yeah, and I bet you're especially happy we're getting married on a Thursday. School, yuck, right?
Number 3, Stewie gets pregnant.
We really wish we were joking, but no. Wanting to spend more time with Brian, Stewie uses Brian's DNA to impregnate himself.
We could even use my old crib. You use your old crib.
It might have been funny watching Stewie discover the joys of being an expectant mother if he weren't a toddler himself. When the childbirth finally comes, it's horrifically gruesome, even without seeing the actual birth. Worst of all, their children turn out to be human-puppy hybrids.
Oh, I caught 2 of them trying to eat each other, so that's something we need to watch out for.
Thanks to birth defects, some end up dying, while Stewie and Brian abandon the rest at a shelter. They might be an iconic duo, but this was a huge, disturbing no-no.
Number 2, Jeff Fiekelman.
We first met Quagmire's sister Brenda in Season 8, where we learned that she's constantly beaten by her boyfriend Jeff. In Season 10's Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q, we got another look at their toxic relationship, and it is a nightmare to watch.
Jeff pushes Brenda around for the pettiest of reasons,
and a lot of the blame is shifted onto Brenda for staying with him.
Sadly, the fact that you are with Jeff proves to me that you have made a choice to make your life worse.
Domestic violence is normally played for laughs on Family Guy, and in this episode, they tried to take it seriously and failed, which was somehow even more uncomfortable.
Even the happy ending was more bittersweet than it should have been. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, The Life of Brian ratings trap.
In the infamous episode Life of Brian, Brian's unexpected death forced fans to bid a tearful goodbye to one of the show's most beloved characters. Needless to say, fans were horrified or just enraged, and even launched a petition to bring the dog back.
Brian, look out!
What the hell?
You're alive, my friend!
What? Of course I'm alive. What the hell's going on here?
However, Brian was miraculously saved via time travel 2 episodes later, and Seth MacFarlane tweeted that it was supposed to teach viewers a lesson about taking loved ones for granted. Unfortunately, this came off as emotionally manipulative and felt like a major ratings trap, resulting in probably the biggest backlash in Family Guy history. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.